What's going on YouTube? This is DestinyHeroic. I'm coming at you with a deck profile today. The profile is for Bunny Saber. So I had a bit of a demand on one of my videos for this. So here's how it looks. So I'll start off with your typical hand trap cards, double Veiler, double Maxi. This is really a judgment call. In my area, there are a couple wind-up players, a couple Inzektor players, so you pretty much have to main this combination. Obviously, if there's more Inzektor players, you'd want to drop a Maxi and add a Veiler. If there's more wind-ups, you'd drop a Veiler, add a Maxi, that kind of thing. That's what I do in my area. So that's for hand traps, and obviously it's an X-saber deck, so we are using triple Dark Soul Searcher. Level 3 gets your guys. And some of the guys you get, 3 Full Helm Knights. This guy's useful, his attack negation is useful, and if you run over something in defense mode, you get a free guy from your graveyard. 2 Pashules, also a defensive card. Defense comes into play quite potently in this deck, so we're playing a lot of defense. Just 2 Boggart Knights. We don't need 3 because of the way the deck works, so we're only using 2. He's good for a quick Hyunlai or a quick Souza, depending on what else you have in your hand. Double Emmer's Blade. Another searcher of the deck, gets out your key cards when you need them. And he's level 3, so there's a lot of level 3s we can actually set up Exceeds in this deck. So we're using this guy to keep field presence. 2 Fultrals. We're only using 2 because we're running 3 Dark Souls and 2 Emmer's Blades to search them out, and we don't want too many of this guy clogging up our hand. So we'd rather search for this guy instead of drawing him. Obviously Sangan to get your combo pieces. And it's Bunny Saber, so we are running 2 Rescue Rabbits, and their purpose is to bring out Anupiranhas. Normal level 4 X-saber. Warrior. And that's kind of the point of, well, certainly the namesake of the deck is this combination of cards. So I'll get to that later. Onto the spells. We're running a pretty standard lineup. 1 Pot of Duality to stabilize our draws. And then we've got our Smorgasbord, Book, Reborn, Dark Hole, Mind Control. Right now you can't not play Mind Control, it's just too good. Heavy, obviously, and 2 MSTs. We're not going to go up to 3 because we're playing quite a bit of spell and trap destruction already. Into the traps, obviously the Solemn Brigade. Pretty much see this in every deck. Some people are dropping Solemn Judgment now. I say whatever to that. I like to still run it because it's like a 3rd warning. But if you choose to drop it, you can obviously fit in another Fiendish Chain or something like that. We're using 2 Gotham's Emergency Calls because we're dropping X-sabers in the graveyard quite a bit faster than we used to in the old X-saber deck, so this thing becomes live a lot faster. And then we have obviously Torrential Tribute, 1 Fiendish Chain. I only use 1 Fiendish Chain because I only own 1 Fiendish Chain, and that works fine for me. But if you have more, obviously run more. Like I said, you can drop the Solemn or whatever. And a little piece of tech, since all our X-sabers are Earth, we can freely main a Gozen match, which is a very handy solution to the wind-up matchup and the Dino Rabbit matchup. So, into our extra deck now. Typical X-saber Synchro monsters are Naturia Beast and Barkion, Brionic, Stardust Dragon, Scrap Dragon, generic stuff, and X-sabers, Gotham's, Souza, and 1 Hyunlai. there's not a lot of space in the extra deck, so we're only running these 3. You could easily drop Gotems if you don't like his effect for another Hyunlai, but I would personally leave Gotems in because we want to be able to use his discard effect. If nothing else, it will draw out an effect Veiler from your opponent. Okay, and to finish off the extra deck, we're using Exceed monsters, Blade Armor Ninja. Rabbit brings out 2 Annapuranas, which are both warriors, so you can easily go into this guy. And we're running a full complement of rank 4 Exceeds, Utopia, and of course Utopia Ray to go along with it. If you fear your opponent's mind control, you can overlay on top of your Utopia for this guy, or you can mind control their Utopia and overlay for this guy. So this guy should actually be, in my opinion, he should actually be in every extra deck. And rank 3s, because we can make them, the standard 2 Leviathan Dragon and Leviar, and we are running also 1 X-Saber Invoker. This guy's effect comes into play rarely, but occasionally, and when he does, you can set up a few combos. So, that's the deck list. So what can you do? Ideally, what you'd like to see is you'd like to have a Veiler or something in your opening hand, and then you can either drop, you can normal summon a Full Helm Knight. This is assuming it's your first turn. You can drop Full Helm Knight, or you can set a Pashul. This will let you safely bait out cards. You can use this combination to figure out what your opponent's playing first of all. If they're playing Inzectors, obviously you just Veiler their guy when they go to equip. Then maybe they attack, they obviously bounce off it, and if it's your Full Helm Knight, you just block the attack with his effect. So you have that. Then you'd normal summon, on your turn, you'd normal summon the Rabbit, banish it for your 2 Annapuranas. And at this point, your plays open up. You can synchro here for a Hyunlai, or you've got 3 X-sabers now, so you can drop Fault Roll. You can overlay for Blade Armor Ninja, like so. Detach and target himself to use his effect. Fault Roll brings up Annapurana. And here you can sync for either Hyunlai, but you'd probably want to go with Brionic. Bounce their field, tack, 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 tack. That's well over 8,000 damage. And you really only needed 3 cards to set that up. Well, 4 counting the Fault Roll. So that's one thing you can do with the Annapuranas. Obviously, if you drop the bunny first, you might not actually want to drop the bunny first, because there's really no good opening play. It's not like Dino Rabbit where you can just drop a big negator right away. So you probably don't want to be doing that first turn. You want to wait for the second turn to drop the bunny. And some of the other combinations you can get are, if you have 2 of these guys and you're not drawing much else, you can overlay them for Invoker. He's considered an X-Saber because he has X-Saber in his name. You can detach, and especially if you've already used 1 bunny and you only have 1 Annapurana left, you can bring it out, or you can bring out Bogger Knight. It doesn't matter. Say you bring that out, and X-Saber, you can do Fault Roll again. Fault Roll's effect brings up the Full Helm Knight, and then you can sync for Gotems, or you could sync for Souza and block traps. If you do go for Souza, then Souza's effect is pretty steep. You have to tribute another X-Saber, but that's no big deal. I mean, Invoker's not really doing anything. He's kind of small, so you could tribute him off. and then have two. You can have almost 5,000 attack damage, and you won't have to worry about traps. I think that's what he does. Blocks traps, doesn't he? Well, he won't be destroyed by traps. So, if your opponent has a mirror force, they may not want to use it because they'll only hit fault roll. So that's a couple of the tricks you can do. Obviously, your oldies but goodies, you can always go into from that play, if you have full helm knights, overlay them for that. Let's say you do this actually. Full helm knights, summon false roll, overlay for this, and you can detach and special summon a rabbit from out of play that you've already used, wherever my rabbits went. And then false roll brings up the full helm knight, and you can sync with the rabbit for whatever you want to do. Level 7, depending on your build. I actually don't have any level 7s that I could bring out with a summon like that, but you could easily run Landoys, you could run Black Rose Dragon if you want, Ancient Fairy Dragon if you're worried about field spells, anything like that. You can't do Souza because he needs X-sabers as the non-tuners. But that's just one of the things you can do. So tell me what you think of this deck. I think it's innovating it with the rabbits is pretty fun. I like innovating decks. So tell me what you think of this deck. You could probably compete in the current metagame with this build. I mean, look at Six Samurai. They're surviving. People are still playing those, and they're doing all right. As long as you have the hand traps, then you don't really need to worry about the two big decks. That would be Inzectors and Windups. So tell me what you think of the deck. Rate, comment, subscribe, and check out my other videos. I'm going to have some more duels and profiles up in the near future. So thanks for watching.